name's Terence Carter and I live at Vera Road, Rackheath. I've lived here since 1963, brought my family up here, and one of them has come back to bring his own family up. My concerns are that we're going to get a massive amount of housing on land which is basically agricultural, which someone's grade 2 and shouldn't be built on. We're being led astray by the Broadland District Council, who are trying to obviously see their end right with X amount of houses to be built and don't care where they build them. The builder's going to walk away with fat wallets in the back pockets with no regard to people who live in the area. The transport situation is diabolical. If the POSIT hub does go about, we shall have a spaghetti junction there and we shall have more traffic than ever. And all of these things just go to put together that we're not ready for vast development. And I feel that we've been misled, and it's about time the truth came out and the local residents were really in sort of charge of where they live and how they live and what they want. Thank you.
I'm Audrey and I'm part of Rackheath WI. I now live in Thorpe St Andrew, but I've lived in Rackheath for about 17 years and I feel it's a perfect little village which was really ruined by the proposed EcoTown development. We would then become an entity instead of a village with a bit of character. Most of the villagers in Rackheath are really against it, but we're not being listened to. And I feel that we really have got to keep on pushing to stop it turning into some awful suburb of Norwich instead of being its own individual village.
Hello, my name is Warren Holly. I live in Canker Road, Rackheath, and I'm here to talk about why we should not have the EcoTown. I don't think we should have the EcoTown because people like the field. I live a few blocks away from this field where it is going to be built. I would really appreciate it if people would start standing up and say, no, this is not right. Not right. Reason one, I know people who have dogs, like myself, and when we like to walk it over these fields. It would be a real disappointment if we had another town built onto a quiet road as well. And so I think why we shouldn't have the EcoTown is because people live residentially. They live in peace and quiet. And whatever so the EcoTown must not be built. It's not be built for people's own sake. So please, if you do have any ideas, write it down on a letter and send it directly to the council. And Warren Holly signing off.
Hello, I'm Dan Roper. I live in Spixworth. I'm also a representative of Broadland Liberal Democrats. I'm delighted to be in Rackheath today, although I hate to think what the place will be like in a few years' time if we get this travesty that they're calling an EcoTown. I really do wonder what it will take to get Broadland District Council to listen to local people. Nobody wants this, even their own party in government don't want it. Yet the Broadland Conservatives just seem to be ploughing on regardless and have absolutely no idea as far as local opinion is concerned. I'm against this EcoTown. We need new housing, but we need it across our villages. We need to save our villages and support our villages. This one-size-fits-all so-called EcoTown just isn't the answer. Thank you.
My name is Richard Thorpe and I live in Rackheath. I've been resident here for 13 years and I value the fact that it's a small village, it's a comfortable place to live in, it's a great quality of life, and I'm very opposed to destroying this quality of life for everybody in the whole village. There's no point in development, I don't see anybody who benefits by the one or two small individuals. It's not what it's about, it should be stopped.
Hello, my name is Derek. I live in Rackheath and I object to this EcoTown very strongly on the grounds that we moved here because it was a nice village. I had an allotment at the bottom of my garden which the council have now promptly taken away from me and I'm building dwellings in there. And now they're going to build an a road on one side of me and on the other side an EcoTown. They're calling it an EcoTown, it's not really an EcoTown at all, it's just a building site, that's all it's going to be. I walk my dog every day across the fields and it's beautiful, beautiful walks. I don't want to be walking through a building site or through houses. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. They're not listening to the locals who voice their opinions and I think it's disgusting.
various things. I live in 32 Thieves Lane, Sal House. I'm a past chairman of Broadland District Council and leader of the council. In fact, served on the council for 17 years. As a local resident, obviously I'm deeply worried about our EcoTown, which has been forced on the village. It's been built on farmland, some of it on grade 2 agricultural land, which is quite frightening in these days with climate change. Well, we've just heard only last week, as I said, the Russians have stopped exporting grain because of climate change, something which the scientists, John Innes, warned us about last year. And yet here is Broadland District Council and their developers now seriously thinking of taking up yet more valuable farmland just to build what was the CPI, he rightly said, I think, a massive urban housing estate which has just been dumped in the countryside. It's totally wrong. Its density is wrong. Its siting is wrong. It hasn't got any of the infrastructure, and yet 3 years ago it was the leader of Broadland District Council who promised us all that no NDR, no EcoTown. Well, there's no sign of the funding ever being available, say, for the NDR. There's no sign of the infrastructure, of the water, and yet they're already talking about building the first stage of the 200 houses. So, yes, I'm sorry, as a Norfolkman and somebody who has a great pride in our Broadland, our Norfolk Broads and our Broadland villages, I think I'm totally against the destruction of Rackheath.